from Death Valley, standing 6'10", weighing 330 pounds, The Undertaker!
That's not bad.
It's okay.
Look at The Undertaker!
I'm with a man that needs no introduction, one of the most popular wrestlers of all time, top 2 or 3. I'm talking about the one and only Mark Calloway, known as The Undertaker. Mark, great to have you here, man.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure.
I love the, the Undertaker song. That makes me just like, get chilled. And
yeah, it has been, I don't know that, I can't say that I was smart enough to have the presence of mind to do it. I got the call from Vince.
I'm Vince McMahon, and you will treat me with respect.
The call was something like this. The phone rings, I pick it up. Hello? Is this The Undertaker? Undertaker. Yeah, this is The Undertaker. Oh, all right then. Hey, can you be up here tomorrow? You know, and next day I was on.
And that was Vince.
That was Vince. Called me. He had this character, which the original character was based on an old Western, an old Western Undertaker.
Wow.
At the time, people were so just enthralled with it because it was so different. Like. You know, most interview segments or the way that most wrestlers talk, you know, was, well, let me tell you something.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
You made a lot of promises to the Macho Man, didn't you?
Who are you? Never tell me how to wrestle.
What I said, I talked very low.
You will rest in peace.
You know, and obviously, you know, it was very menacing words, but you know, when someone, if you're in a room or something, and someone starts to talk low, well, what do? You kind of lean forward.
That's right.
To, you know, so I had their attention, and trying to keep the character relevant for this long, you know, you really have to keep your finger on the pulse of things, because if you don't, you know, what usually happens is before you realize that you're stale, your audience is already.
That is good.
You know, your audience has already moved on.
How do you do that? Just because I know we'll have so many people watching, they're in business or they're in whatever. I mean, what would you say about keeping your finger on the pulse of things like that?
Well, you just can't. I never, once I got to the WWE, and then, you know, I kind of started to realize that we had something special with that character. I was never satisfied. Like,
I like it.
You know, I was like, okay, we're here.
Okay.
And we're getting a great reaction, but what's next? You know, I'm always looking down the road, like, okay, I need something. I need to bring something new to the table, but I got to be true to, you know, what my fan base and what my audience, you know, they've accepted, and this is what they want. But you also have to keep it, you know, you have to figure out ways to keep it fresh, you know, so you're watching what everybody else is doing, and you're trying not to fall in, because that happens so often in our business. Somebody, you know, somebody will hit something, and then like everybody's trying to do the same thing.
That's a great word, yes.
You know, and so, you know, I was fortunate in the sense that my character, you know, it wasn't that over the top, you know, high energy. My energy was high energy, but it was at a whole different.
Yes, it was.
You know,
it is.
And that's what separated me, you know. So I always had to keep an eye on, what's this guy doing? Like, you know, take, you know, Rock and Cena and Austin and you know, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. You know, those are those are the guys that are. Ric Flair, you know, you're watching all these guys and seeing what they're doing, and you're seeing what they're doing that works, and then you figure out, okay, all right, that's what they're doing. So what is the, you know, antagonist, you know, to what they're doing that works for me and is true to the character and what the fans, you know.
That's so smart.
Well,
That is smart. Yeah.
it's just, I mean, the business, and it is a business. I mean, and there's so many guys that are there and are hungry and are trying to climb up that ladder, you know, and so, you know, if you kind of sit back and like, yeah, check this out, you know, hey, I just sold out Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
you know, and you sit on that for a little bit, you know, there's somebody else that's climbing, like, okay, well, I'm gonna settle it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna settle it out 5 times in a row. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that was great. That era, you know, I mean, everybody was clawing, everybody was fighting for the brass ring, you know, and you know that the 2000s, my goodness, that the Attitude Era was insane.
I like to the character Undertaker because it's all that energy and strength that's kind of contained, but you let it out at the right time.
In spurts. Yep. I'm a firm believer in less is more, especially with my character. And when I talk to young guys,
I love that.
yeah, they think, you know, so they think, okay, well I can do, and the athletes today they're off the chart.
Yeah, they are.
They're just ridiculous how athletically talented, you know, the men and women are, for that matter. But they rely, so wrestling and sports entertainment, it's not about the moves. It really isn't.
Okay.
It's being able to evoke emotion in one facet or another. You have to either make people love you, or you have to make them hate you. Either way, and it doesn't matter really which one.
Yes.
You know, I mean, certain people like to be hated, and other people like to be loved. But if you can't, you know, if you can't bring that emotion out of your audience, you're not going to have them for long. And a lot of times, what happens with these young guys is they're so athletic, they're so gifted, like, well, you know, they'll do some kind of double crazy backflip off the top rope, land on somebody on the floor, and then that's what the audience takes away from it. This guy does crazy stuff. Well, you can only see that so many times before you're like, I've seen that.
Right.
I need something new. Okay, well, that's a double backflip, you know, full gainer onto somebody. Now, how do I up that? And that's the position they sometimes back themselves into. Like, they have to keep upping the ante, and when you up the ante like that, then you increase your potential for you know, injuries and you know, catastrophic injuries at that. So characters, like, you know, I keep looking back, but like, you know, guys like The Rock and Cena, Flair, all those guys like that, you know, they had the ability to either make you love them or that make you hate them. And Cena is such an anomaly because you don't know one night to the next whether they're going to go ballistically crazy for him or they're going to boo him out of the building. He is probably the most polarizing guy that's come along in a long time because he just, you know, his fan base it's crazy. But what happens is he sells tickets.
Yep.
He works in front of full arenas. Same thing when Rock was there. You know, but that's the key. We tell stories. We use moves, the wrestling moves, to help tell the story.
Yeah.
But it boils down to the character and the you know, being able to bring that emotion out of your crowd, out of your audience, you know, and it's all about love or hate, you know, and it's you know, there's a lot of guys that it takes a while to figure that part out.
Oh, yes.
And then by the time they do, they're so beat up and injured and hurt, like, you know, it's like.
I mean, it's complex. I mean, you got to really.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, you know, I mean, a lot of, you know, we get a lot of people from different sports, you know, that maybe we're football players or amateur wrestlers or, you know, and they think, oh, it's wrestling, I can do that. Yeah. You know, and what you end up finding out is like these guys come out and they don't look genuine. You know, they look out of place because what they're doing, they're trying to emulate or be like a wrestler they've watched on TV instead of being the wrestler that's on TV. And that's probably one.
Say that again. That's a great point. They're trying to.
Yeah. So like if somebody was, and I'll use The Rock for example. I mean, because he was really, you know, a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
So you get somebody out there and like, oh, well, I mean, I've watched The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock, I'm going to do it. So, you know, he comes, if you try to be something else, then, I mean, you have to make it yours. You got to own it. You know, if I'm trying to, you know, if I'm trying to be The Rock, people are going to see right through that.
That's right.
You know, and it's like, oh, it's so,
Yeah.
you know. But if you can be the original individual, you know, that's the key to making people, you know, believe in you, and that's what you have to do. I mean, if you're a good guy, like we'll take Stone Cold for instance.
Yes.
He was anti-establishment.
Yep.
Everybody knew it, and man, he was the, you know, he was the guy.
That's right.
You know, he was going to, you know, tell the boss what he could do with it.
Yeah.
You know, and you believed it. 'Cause
Yes.
I mean, you're like, yeah, that's, you know, and it wasn't too far a stretch from, you know, who Steve really was. It was, no, I mean, it was pumped up a little bit.
I understand that, yeah.
It's pumped up a little bit, but, you know, you're not too far from, you know, for ones that are really successful, you're not too far off from the character. Like, I work with a lot of the young talent
Yes.
now. And so, and another guy, Shawn Michaels, he works with a lot of young talent. And it's funny, we can tell these guys, okay, well, you know, you try this, do this, and do this. And then I can come back and say that, well, you know, do this, and do this. And now they're like, okay, wait a minute. I got one guy here that's done all this, and he's telling me one thing, and we got another guy saying this, you know. That's the hard part, is putting it together. Taking those pieces and figure out, okay, okay, I see what Mac's doing there. I like that. That will work. But you can't, you know, you can't just take, okay, that worked for him, it's going to work for me.
That's right.
That way. You got to figure out how to take all this information, all these different personalities, and formulate your own. And that's, you know, like I said, that's one of the trickier aspects of whether you're a success or, you know.
You know, one time, Mark, I was over in Australia at a leadership conference, and they were talking about how people that sometimes try to be someone they're not, they call them tryhards. I know you've probably heard that before. He's a tryhard. So that's kind of what you're saying. In other words, you learn from everybody, but take that and you have to somehow, and that's the complexity of it, I guess, make it your own.
Make it your own. That's the key. You have to be able to take all this information in and figure out how this information works, how it works for me, you know. And
okay, and Mark, here's how I fell into wrestling, basically loving wrestling. I grew up in the Carolinas, North and South Carolina, before I moved to Texas. And we had Mid-Atlantic Championship, there you go, wrestling. I remember Flair when he first came on the scene. And I mean, back in the day, 3 channels on your television. Cable was, you know,
it was.
You never even thought about cable. I'm not sure it was even invented at that point. Maybe it was, whatever. But 3 channels, no social media, obviously. My brother and I, man, on every Saturday, I mean, we're glued. And there was a little arena called Township Auditorium in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm telling you, Mark, packed out. But taking what you said earlier, Flair was so believable. He like owned, and I don't know Ric Flair, but he owned the character so much. It was just, I mean, I remember locking in, you know, that jet fly, you know, whatever. House, Slick Rick, whatever, all that. I was just, woo, I mean.
He's another one that lived. I mean, he lived the character.
Yes.
Ric Flair was Ric Flair all the time. Always, you know, always dressed to the tens and, you know.
Custom made from head to toe.
Alligator, you know, alligator shoes. And everywhere you went, you saw what you saw on TV. So you know, that's just investing in your brand and investing in your character. And, you know, and that's what, you know, to this day.
Mark, before you became the icon that you are, okay, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Then I went to school, as we said earlier, played basketball at Florida State. Well, then that's when I got into watching TBS, Gordon Soley.
Great voice.
Oh, was he unbelievable? Look at Flair, great trapezius development. Oh, he's got him in the figure four leg dive. I mean,
I love, and I loved watching some of the interviews. Gordon Soley, when he would talk to someone he didn't agree with, you could see it all over his face. He even played such,
He was awesome.
He understood it.
Yep.
I love Gordon Soley.
He understood his role in the whole thing.
Yes.
Jim Ross is another one
Yep.
that's like that.
That's right.
Michael Cole now, you know, but Gordon Soley, I mean,
I loved his voice.
His voice was awesome. His face is a crimson mask.
yes,
I mean,
his face, the crimson mask. Look at the Undertaker. I mean, this man 6'10". Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome. And I mean, and that's such a vital part because, you know, you have to have that voice to put it all together because when you're in the ring, I mean, you don't have the ability to, you know, so you need that seasoned voice and that one that has the insight to, you know, to tie all the loose ends together. And he was awesome.
Mark, who's the strongest guy you've ever wrestled? You go like, this guy's strength is like ridiculous. I mean, it might be someone we've never heard of, or
man, there's been a lot.
Or several of them that are just like, this guy's a freak, man.
Lesnar.
Really?
Lesnar was, especially his first time in when he was still in his 20s, he was just a freakish athlete. He still is.
Yes.
But
when he was in his 20s.
When he was in his 20s and he first came up, I mean, you know, he was a NCAA national, he was a heavyweight champion, national champion. And, you know, he defied what your mind would tell you because you would see him, you know, he's like 6'4", 285, 290.
Yeah.
And you think there's no way that a human being that size can move as fast. You know,
Really?
I mean, you know, his like, you know, his single leg or double leg shot would be the same as somebody that was 180 pounds. I mean, he just really freakish. He was one. You know, there's a guy out, Kane. My gosh, Kane is just incredibly strong. Man, there's been some Mark Henry. Oh my gosh, Mark Henry is he's just Mark Henry is at a if I can
whole nother level.
A whole nother level. I've seen him. Now this is a great story. So when we travel overseas, you know, once we get to wherever we're going, we travel on bus, you know, by buses, you know, so you get good guys on one bus and the bad guys on the other. Anyway, we were checking out of a hotel one morning. We had like a 4-hour drive to the next city, wherever we were going. And there was, in front of the first bus was a car. And we couldn't, the driver didn't have enough room to pull out. And, you know, we're sitting there and like, no one can find who owns this car and everything, you know, everybody's looking at their watch like, oh my gosh, you know, everybody's worried, I got to go to the gym and I got to eat and all this other. Mark gets wind of it. He goes, I'll handle it. Mark gets up, goes off the bus, grabs a towel, goes to the back end of this car, puts the towel underneath the fender well. He reaches under it and he picks it up and he takes a couple steps and puts it down. He looks at his hands, fixes the towel, hooks it under there again. He picks it up, walked it a couple more steps until we had enough angle that the bus could pull out. I would, you know, I was like, what do you do with that? I mean, you know, I've seen him take, we were in Japan once and I seen him take a nice piece of silver. It was like a spoon you'd stir your coffee with. So it's a spoon about like that, nice, thick silver. And he twisted it like a pretzel. I've seen him take frying pans and bend them in half. It's just that was just a gift that he was given that not many people have.
No.
Yeah. I mean, just the nicest guy in the world, but you know.
Have you ever wrestled Andre?
I never got the chance to wrestle Andre. By the time that I got to what was WWF then,
Yes.
WWE now, by the time that I got there, his health was really in decline. He wrestled a few times, and it was funny because Andre really was old school, and Andre didn't like big guys either.
Really?
He did not like big. He loved me, but thank goodness. But for most big guys, I don't know, he thought they were arrogant or bullies
Yes.
or whatnot, but he had his way with a lot of guys that you would just go, ooh, that was a pretty tough guy. Andre would set
Take
him
him
straight. Anyway, he liked me, and he was like, even, and I guess we always think we got one left in us, you know. But Andre, he'd always, I would come in, he was always, now he's Andre the Giant at the time, biggest star that's ever, at that time, really been in wrestling. Worldwide phenomenon. He was always the first guy in the locker room. He was always there. He loved to sit there and play cribbage before he'd go. And I'd come in, and, I'd say, hey, boss, how you doing today? Oh, good. One day, kid, me and you, I have an idea. I was like, oh, really, boss? Tell me about it. Oh, and he'd never tell me. Never tell me. And a good friend of mine to this day, his name's Tim White, and he drove Andre around. He was one of my referees, and I'd ask Tim all the time. I said, did he ever tell you? He would never tell me. I mean, he was old school Andre. He didn't want anybody else to do it because he thought he was going to get to a point where he could get back in the ring and we could do this. And, have a really big deal. So no one knows what it was. But, he ended up passing away, and he never let me know. God. And I wonder to this day because I was like, man, I bet it was good. So.
I bet it. Mark, what do you like to do other than, I know you're so busy traveling around the world, appearances, your business. What do you enjoy, recreationally, just hanging out? I mean, what do you like to do?
Well, it's kind of funny because I was on the road for so long. It's all I did. When I was home, I rested. So now that I have a little more time, I like to hunt. I like to fish.
Where do you like to fish?
It doesn't matter wherever they're biting. I mean, we got a pond in the neighborhood that's stocked full of. I don't mind just going out there and throwing a line in.
I love fishing. It's my favorite. I love to fish. That's why I ask.
That's one of my fondest memories as a kid. My dad, he'd take us down to Matagorda Bay. Or a couple places and go wade fishing back in the day. And
isn't that fun?
It was so much fun, and those are some of my fondest memories with my dad because he was one that really didn't take a lot of vacations. But man, when we went fishing, that was that was funny because that was like pre-Jaws, and you'd have a stringer full of redfish behind you, and things bumping into you, and you never even really thought about it being a shark. But
Mark, okay, talk to me about the travel though, because I know people watching this, a few, but most people have no idea how much you travel. For example, just kind of give me, I don't know how to say this, but kind of an average time where, okay, you're wrestling around, North America, and then let's say you go to Japan, to just generally.
So when I was going full time, I know I had a stretch, I'm going to say probably 8 years, where I averaged over 270 dates a year, gone on the road. I'd be out sometimes 30, 40 days, and that's working every day.
Night. So you're saying you wrestled 270 times?
Well, more than that, because in part of the year, back in the early 90s, there's part of the year, like when the winter and the kids go back to school, that we would work twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday. So we would say, I'd be in Rochester, New York at noon or 1, you'd wrestle, change your clothes, get in your rental-car, and then drive to Rochester and Syracuse, and then fortunately I got to a point where I could say, look, I can't. I took a page out of Andre's book, and I said, look, I can't do these double shots like that. I mean, it was just, you're taking off, you're sore, you're cold, and you're wet, but that was just the norm for a long time. That's just how it was done, and you know, sometimes in the middle of a tour here in North America. So in North America, when we tour, you know, the company flies you to, you know, so I live here in Austin, so they would fly me, say, to Chicago.
Okay.
All right, and then you go to rent a car, or however you, it's basically your travel is up to you from the time that you land.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you want, you know, car service or rent a car, I learned really late. I started leasing a bus, which I wish I had done a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big expense, but I think it would have prolonged my ability to work a fuller schedule.
Right.
Just because, you know, most people don't realize, you know, you day after day after day. So, you know, you get out of an arena at 12, you know, 12:30 at night sometimes, and you've got to put in 200-300 miles to go to the next town, you know. So by the time so at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 in the morning, you're pulling up to a hotel. And there were several occasions, you know, especially there at the end when I was working all the time, you know, you'd sit there, you'd open the door, you know, and you'd have to start thinking like, okay, all right, let me get this leg out first, you know, because your body just kind of just, you know, there's nowhere to stop because everything's closed.
Right.
You know, so you get like a convenience store meal, however, you know, whatever that means. And then, you know, and then you've pretty much set in this position, you know, for 4 hours, and then you have to get up and then you go check into your hotel, go to sleep. Now, if you want to get up in the morning and work out or do whatever you have to do, you got to make time for that, and you got to make time to eat, and you got to get to the arena at a certain time.
God, that's brutal.
It is. I think it's a lot more than what most people really think. I mean, I know for a long period of time, people just thought, well, you just do TV shows and, you know, that's it. They had no earthly clue about all the live non-televised events that they do.
But when you reach your status, one of, you know, the best of all time and all that, the latter years, would the company fly you privately places a lot, or would you still have to do?
There are a few occasions. It just depends on you know, where, just the logistics of it. But normally, I mean, normally fly me commercial, and you know. And then, you know, usually they'll do a car service or something for me now at this point. So
okay, let's say we take a trip commercially, you and me. I bet it's uncanny how many people recognize you, isn't it?
it's kind of hard to hide.
I was going to say, man.
It really is. And
how do you? And I was going to, but I wanted, one of my next questions was, you know, how do you handle that? But let me just tell. I bet you have some great stories about that. It's hard to hide.
Yeah, it really is. It's
6'9",
tough. You know, and then
whatever,
you know, sleeves.
290.
Even if if they're not wrestling fans, it doesn't take too many removals to find somebody who that person knows.
Oh yes.
So normally, you know, your size, you're like, wow, that's a big dude. I wonder if he plays football or what, you know.
And then all of a sudden,
oh, wait a minute, no, that's the
Undertaker.
That's the Gravedigger, or you know,
whatever,
like all these different, you know, and then it's just like so. For years there, so like I said, I kind of lived the character. So you know, it was this guy everywhere, right?
And so people, I bet.
Well, you know, it was like if they came up to me, then it would be different. But I mean, I kind of tried to give them that aura, like, don't mess with him because he may, he may, drop you where you stand, right? And you know, because people, they don't really.
I would be scared to come up to him if this dude, and I'm thinking like, wow, there's the Undertaker.
It's funny because there's a lot of people think that, and then they'll either send. Like they're sending wives. They'll send somebody that maybe has no clue, right? And then if I don't snap at them, then they come over like, and I'm like, really? You sent your wife over here? I mean, I'm gonna take a picture with her, but I'm not taking a picture with you because you need to man up a little bit. I try to be as accommodating as I can.
Yes.
Unless my kids are with me,
I understand that.
I'm a little. I try to be as polite as I can.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want my kids' pictures taken.
Yes.
I don't want them on social media.
Right.
We're really protective of that, and so you know, I normally say, look, my family's with me. You know, normally I would, but I don't take pictures because it just causes something. You know, And most people understand that and respect it.
So, Mark, every day of your life, I mean, wherever you go, someone is going to come up to you.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't really, when I'm home now.
That's crazy.
And I mean, and that's just me. I mean, you if you think about like pop stars or movie stars, I mean, it's really ridiculous. And people, you obviously you want to treat your fan base right, but I mean, people really assume and take a lot for granted. Like,
they do, don't they?
They like, well, I'm your fan. You need to be. I'm like,
yes,
I get that, and that's why I show up to the towns that I'm booked, and I work my tail off for you.
Right.
That's my obligation.
Yes.
That's I give it everything I have.
Right.
Whether at this point, however much I got left, I give it to you.
Yeah.
This is a bonus. You know what? You were lucky enough to come across me, and I'm gonna, I'll sign it if just give me a little bit of respect. I hate using that word. Hate. No. I hate. That's twice.
That's okay.
But people that'll do the old take the camera out and try to do the old sneak peek, right?
Yeah.
Like the guys they're afraid to come up to you, so they'll try to video you, and then somebody else that has will come up to me and say, "Hey, can I have autograph?" Well, absolutely. And then the person that was trying to be sneaky, like, "Oh, he's okay. Oh, I'm gonna go up to him." I'm like, "Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What about the 10 pictures you just took a minute ago?" "Oh, well, I did." I'm like,
Have you ever had anybody try to say, let's not fight or not fight or some? Surely people aren't that crazy. Well, they are.
I have people ask me all the time, "Hey, will you choke slam me?" Like, I'm saying, you really don't want me to do that.
No, I don't know.
I said, it's a nice flight, but the landings are rough. I'm just saying, it is.
I like that. A nice flight.
Bad landing.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just. But really, I've been very fortunate.
And you're jujitsu too. This guy. Here's what people don't know about these guys like this. This guy, obviously, one of the top 2 or 3 of all time. But my brother does a lot of the MMA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's told me, he goes, a professional wrestler. I don't care who you are, how big you are, how bad you are, how tough you think they are. 5 seconds, done. And a guy like him, I would never do it. You put your hand on him, game over.
Yeah.
No, it is. I'm just going to tell that for you because I know you got the body, the way you know how to move your body, the strength. Done.
Yeah, it's.
He knows.
He's
like going. He's like, yeah, that's true. Don't. So
no, yeah. Please don't test that.
Tell me about your life of faith. How did you become like a Christ follower? Tell me a little bit about that.
I always believed in God. I just didn't really understand what it was having a relationship with God.
Yes.
And I have to give a lot of credit to my wife.
That's great. Great story.
Yeah, she. See,
those Florida State girls. There you go. See.
Well, that
I married one too.
Her whole family is Florida State. I mean, her mom, her dad. But very, very strong in her faith.
Yeah.
And
it's a Christian school.
And anyway, she would like, you just come with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, babe, I'm telling you, I walk through those doors, the roof's gonna start shaking and I said, I'm good. I'm good with God. I believe in, no, it's Mark, there's so much more to it than that. So I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna go, but if lightning bolts start flying, don't blame me, And that's how it started. That was very important to her. That I have a relationship, with Christ, and to really understand what that means.
Yes.
So once again, God working in in the ways that He does, put us here at Lake Hills Church.
That's great.
It was,
Mark, that's a great story, man.
It really was. I sat down, and it was like we were having a conversation.
Yes.
With, 3,000 people. 3,000 people. It felt like an intimate conversation. It was the perfect place at the perfect time.
Yes.
For me.
God definitely used so many great things to bring you guys together. That's awesome.
No, it really is.
Mark, how many? Tell me some quick injuries you've had over the years.
Okay, let's see. Both eye sockets have been crushed.
Your eye sockets?
You know, both.
At one time?
No, they were separate. They were years apart. I've had probably, I'm guessing we're closing in on 20 different orthopedic type surgeries from just wrestling related injuries. Both hips have been, had a form of hip replacements, torn biceps, torn pecs, torn triceps, bone spurs, training.
You know you're on a level that very few people have ever thought about being on.
I just think I'm probably a little tougher than I am smart.
Yes.
He takes it
I've seen you a lot of times.
Yeah, so that's a choke slam.
So how do you?
You really want to know how I get people up?
Yeah, no, you don't have to do it.
No,
Okay,
because
yeah, I
it's
don't
really
wanna-
uncomfortable. Whoa. No, because
Yeah.
sometimes, because I mean,
Grab 'em.
yeah, absolutely. I grab a handful, and if you don't go up, if you don't jump, you're going to get, you're going to get a little wedge in there. It's the oldest trick in the book.
Who's the biggest guy you've ever? I mean, when you're at your, when this was fixed and everything, how big are we talking about? How much you guys weigh?
You see, Yoko, 4. I got a 4. It wasn't real high, but I did a 400 pounder. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like. It wasn't high though. It wasn't high. I mean, but
I don't care.
I love like you get somebody like you get somebody like a Rey Mysterio, some of the little guys, man. Those are awesome. Then you could just walk around.
The Undertaker.
Mark, thank you.
My pleasure.
So much for giving us the time. The Undertaker, Mark Calloway. This guy's the real deal. Great guy. Loves the Lord. I mean, just down to earth. But we're talking The Undertaker.